computer. I have no doubt in my mind that somebody else is going to show up sooner or later. So, okay, but you were not here last night, Alicia, right?
Right.
All right. So, and again, that's not a problem. So anyway, I want to start off by talking. If you notice here, the assignment basically is recoloring a subject. So that's really what this assignment is about. Last week, the assignment, which you said you did, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So last week, the assignment was to create a what do they call it? A something graph. Geez, I can't even think of what the thing's called now. But anyway. A what?
The cinematograph?
Cinematograph, that's right. So basically, and this is where I kind of want to start, because if you look at where I'm making a good selection. So basically, we started by making this cinematograph, which is essentially a video clip where you superimpose, essentially, a still frame in front of it, and then you use a masking technique to mask out the image in areas where you don't want the subject or the video part showing, leaving the other area showing. So what happens is, with your little mask that you create, you end up showing part of the video clip. So you get this motion in one area of your cinematograph, and the rest of it is sort of like a still image. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So that's basically how we began the process of working with masking. And like I say, even though this assignment says recoloring a subject, a great deal of this involves masking techniques. So again, that's kind of why I'm right here where I am, because a good masking selection prior to separating the subject from its background is an essential part of this process. Next week, and week 4, we are still involved with this basic process of masking items. We're still going to be working in terms of masking. So this entire course has to do a great deal with the concept of masks and how to employ masks. There are a number of ways that we could do this. My goal is to teach you what is probably the most easy and most direct way to create masks, and probably what the techniques that you'll use more than any other. There are a few other techniques that you can use, but the majority of the time, with the kind of images that you'll come across, at least from my experience, and I haven't come across every single thing that there is to be done out there, but the vast majority of the work that I do can easily be accomplished by the steps that I showed last night in the video. So if you watch my recording, you can see how I did the 3 dresses that you're going to end up doing. So I'm not going to be repeating much of that tonight. I will do one thing tonight, I think, just for the heck of it. I didn't show you how to use the pen tool. I did show how to use the Polygon Lasso tool. And I use the Polygon Lasso tool because the Polygon Lasso tool, in my mind, is a lot easier to work with than the pen tool, and there's less steps involved in it. But I just wanted to show you a little tiny demonstration of using the pen tool to make a selection as well, so that you could see the steps that are involved in doing it, and you could see that it's actually a lot easier to use the Polygon Lasso tool. And generally speaking, unless you have to have an incredibly high level of exactness to your selection, the Polygon Lasso usually works just fine. The major difference between the Polygon Lasso and the pen tool, I don't know how familiar you are. Hi, Lori, how you doing? I thought you weren't feeling well.
I'm not. I'm on death's doorstep.
I'm surprised you even came. I didn't expect you to be here. It's good that you're here, but I didn't think you'd be here.
I've tried.
All right. Well, listen, if you don't feel good, leave. I also, you saw my email, right?
No, I didn't.
All right. I sent you email. Read my email.
Okay. I will, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, so I'm just gonna do a very quick, and it's short, a really quick review of the difference between using the Polygon Lasso tool and the pen tool to add to your selections, because I didn't show the pen tool last night, and I don't really want you to use the pen tool only because it's kind of more work. And why make things more difficult? My feeling is that you always try to do things in the easiest way possible. And I'm not ashamed to say that to you. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to gyp you out of anything. I think it's good advice. I think it's very good advice for instructors to tell students that once you get out there and once you know these programs, you're always trying to do things the easiest possible way that you could do it. Now, that doesn't mean you do a crappy job. You do a good job, but you do things as quick and easy as you possibly can. That means putting together a plan in your head that involves using the tools that are in the program that will get you to your final goal the quickest way that you can. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Like you said, time is money.
Yeah, time is money. So, all right. So in week 1 discussion, we learned about how to make good selections using the various methods that Photoshop has to offer. We looked at several last night. We looked at the refine and mask, which is a very cool new little panel. We looked at the quick selection tool, which is very reliable these days. It's actually a very good tool, and it works very well generally. Lori, I believe you were here for most of that last night, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so you watched me do these selections using the Polygon Lasso. Did you see me have much trouble with it?
No, and
Not really, right?
No, and that's what I used today, and I did use it a little bit today, and then I don't know, I must have clicked off of where I began, and I had lines everywhere, but then I just like erase them with the other tool. I just can't. My brain is not.
That's
working.
fine. I'm not trying to torture you. That's okay. That's
no, but yeah, it is really cool, and it's really accurate. So it's a good tool to know.
So here, review these techniques and master them. So when you are hired as an entry-level graphic designer, you'll be able to quickly, efficiently, and accurately select a variety of subjects. Again, what I did last night. Boy, I got a lot of people here tonight. Got Christina, got Margaret. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Good to have you here. Before the end of the night, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all an opportunity to ask me any questions or make any comments that you might have, okay? I want to get going a little bit on this, so we'll do that a little bit later on. After a selection is made, and again, last night was all about selection. So for those of you who weren't here last night, my recording deals with the first part of this assignment, which is preparing the pictures, making selections of the dresses so that we could go in and figure out ways to recolor the dresses, which we're going to do tonight. So if you want to watch me do the entire night of making the selections, last night I did it on all 3 pictures. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who I've been receiving emails about this, one of the pictures, there's a bad link. Okay, now you only need 1 picture for this project this week. You don't have to worry about that bad linked image. There's 3 that you could use. So, you know, pick one of the 3 and don't worry about that one bad image. I tried to get it up, you know, repaired, and I can't get it repaired, and it just isn't worth, you know, going nuts over. There's 3 good shots in there, and you should have no trouble with any one of the 3 that you might choose. And again, you only need to work with 1. Everybody understand that, right?
Yes.
All right. All right, so after a selection is made, the product can then be colored using either the solid color adjustment layer on the color blending mode or using the hue saturation adjustment layer with colorizing settings selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both ways tonight. I like using a color adjustment layer, or I actually do a variation of the color adjustment layer, which I'm going to show you tonight. Okay. The hue and saturation, the problem that I have with the hue and saturation adjustment layer, you have very specific colors that have been given to you. Okay. There are 4 different color groups. And all you have to do, this is also very important for you to understand, you only use one of those groups. You don't have to use all 4 of them. You guys understand that, right?
Yes.
All right. So you only need to use 1 color group. You only need to use 1 photo of 1 dress. So that's it. All right, so anyway, the hue saturation layer, the reason I didn't use that very much in here is because these colors are pretty specific colors, and I found it a little bit difficult to get super close to the color. As a matter of fact, using the layers and blend modes, I don't get 100% right on. I have to do a little bit of tweaking to get where I want to go with this. So, but I found that using an adjustment layer, or actually it wasn't really an adjustment layer, you'll see it's a fill layer. What I did was I created a fill layer, which is a slight variation on this. And I'll show that to you tonight, and that you could use that if you want, okay? Now, it also offers you 3 blending modes that are commonly used for recoloring and compositing. They start off by mentioning color, which overlays color over an image while allowing its values to show through. Often the easiest way to recolor something in a way that looks natural. In fact, go back to what I was saying just a little bit before. I don't know whether I said this to the room or not, but keep it simple, stupid. It's always best to try to do the things that are the most easy and reliable. So, in most cases, for my execution of the assignment, I did in fact use the color overlay. Now I will show you soft light and color burn to show you the difference, but the one that you're going to find that'll work better is the color. And there's something else that I'm going to show you and talk to you about when I actually use my color overlay or my soft light overlay or my color burn overlay when I get to it. But there are 3 right there they're telling you are good for using, good for recoloring and compositing. Okay. All right. So those are the 3. Just keep that in mind. For this assignment, you'll be using the provided photo of a model wearing a dress and recolor that dress 4 different ways using the color swatches provided. The recolored dress must precisely match the color swatches. Again, within the realm of reason. I mean, I'm not crazy, and nobody is. You'll be surprised. You'll come very close. If you do what I do, you'll come very close. So all I did. Okay, it says here, you can choose from any of the following swatch groups. Each group has 4 swatches you will need to match your dress to. So all I did was I downloaded group 1. Why? Why not? I mean, I have no other reason than why not. In other words, I just figured that I'm just going to take the first one and I'm going to use the first one. Do you have to do that? No. You can use any one of those 4 that you want. You only need 1. But just for your information, I just downloaded swatch group 1 and boom, that's the one that I used. Because again, I didn't think about it. I just thought, let me see how hard it is to just pull this off with any old color swatch group. You know what I mean? Because I have to figure out how to show you this to make this work. So again, no other reason than I just chose 1 and I went with 1. Okay? And you don't have to do that. You can choose any one of those 4 that you want. You only need 1. Are you guys cool with that? Anybody got any questions so far?
Nope.
All right. Now, the dress. Read what it says. Choose 1 dress that you will color. So 1 dress is all you need. You don't need all 4. I believe download dress 2 is the one that's a broken link. So you're not going to be able to download dress 2. Am I concerned about it? No. Should you be concerned about it? No, not really. Because download dress 1, dress 3, and dress 4, any one of those 3 dresses are going to be very easy for you to work with, and you should have no trouble with those 3. I downloaded them all. Has anybody downloaded any of those dresses yet? Have you done that part of it yet, anybody?
Yeah, I have.
Yep, here too.
Okay, so you know that download dress 2 doesn't work, right?
Yeah, I actually emailed you about that too.
Okay, yeah, you're right, you did. And you have no trouble with the swatches? You had no trouble downloading the swatches?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
You only need 1, and you only need 1 dress. Did you download more than 1, or you just downloaded 1? I
actually downloaded all 3, but now that I know I just have to use 1, I'll be deleting the rest.
Yeah, you don't have to delete them. You just put them aside if you want. Might want to play with them later on.
Yeah, use them for a portfolio.
Totally up to you. Yeah. But you do only need to do one. I mean, I want to make this as simple as possible. So I'm pointing out that when I did this in my live session last night, I showed you how to do all three of those dresses because I wasn't sure which dress anybody would pick. So I figured the least I could do would be to try to work on all three of the dresses. I got 2 hours. I'll work on all three of the dresses, and perhaps each one of you will see me work on the dress that you're working on, and hopefully it will give you some ideas, okay? So that's really why I did what I did. And also, it gave me the opportunity to do over and over and over 3 times the entire process of selecting and masking the dress, so that you have more than plenty of opportunities to watch me do it. And I think it also shows you that I almost did the exact same series of steps and operations in each dress, right? Who was here last night? I think Lori was here, right? Anybody else?
Yeah.
You saw I did almost the exact same series.
I was last night too.
Who's this? Christina?
Margaret.
Oh, Margaret. So, Margaret, you saw me basically do almost the same thing on each dress, right?
Yes.
They pretty much were the same set of steps to get myself through each one of them. And none of them looked particularly hard, did they?
No.
No, not at all.
All right. All right, so you will mask out the dress. So you will be able to apply various blend modes to match each of your swatches. Once masked, duplicate the dress into 4 separate artboards so you can easily recolor each dress on its own artboard. Now, there's a problem with this. I don't know what version of Photoshop you guys are running, but my version is Photoshop CC 2018, and I went in and I attempted to create artboards. You know from Illustrator that you can create multiple artboards, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you can pretty much do the same thing in Adobe Photoshop. However, in my current version, Photoshop CC 2018, that tool that creates the artboard isn't there yet. So I'm not going to be able. What?
I said, oh, brother.
Yeah, you might not have it either. But here's the thing. I just want to make a quick detour here. What I did do for you is this. I went into announcements, and just like I did, links for discussion and links for week 2 assignment, I went and found you a YouTube video that shows you how to go about creating artboards in Photoshop. So all I'm saying is if you want to try to do this, you can watch this video and follow the steps that are in the video. But I want to point out to you that you really don't even need to do this. This is something that I'm going to do just by virtue of working with layers alone. Okay? It's not that complicated. It's something that you can very easily do just on one artboard with a series of layers. So that is how I'm going to. Huh?
Oh, I just said thank you, Bill.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I just want you to understand. The only reason I'm not showing you how to work with the artboards is my version of Photoshop doesn't have the tool yet. So apparently there's an upgrade. There's supposed to be an upgrade coming. And I'm guessing that what happened is the upgrade hasn't reached me yet, so I haven't got that upgrade. I haven't got that tool. So it's,
right, same here.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it's no big deal. It's something that if you watch that video, it'll show you exactly how it's done, and you'll know how to do it. When you get that upgrade, you can go in and give it a try. It's very simple. Have you guys all had Illustrator?
Yes.
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 Okay, have you all gone into Illustrator and created additional artboards in Illustrator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very similar in Photoshop. Very similar. Okay, there's a tool, and you basically work that. Well, you'll see the video. Watch the video. You'll see it's very simple, not hard. Again, unfortunately, I just can't show you because I don't have that tool. So, okay, so it's saying here, once masked, duplicate the dress on the 4 separate artboards. We're not going to do that. I'm show you another way to do it, which will be just fine, and you'll have no trouble with it. Create JPEGs from each artboard to make a contact sheet. Name them as follows. So what you're going to do is you're going to, I didn't name mine this way. I named mine more simply, but you're going to name yours this way. And you're going to end up creating a JPEG. So what these JPEGs are going to be, essentially, is the same picture with the dress in each one of the colors from your swatches. Okay, so swatch 1, swatch 2, swatch 3, swatch 4. Those are your 4 dresses. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a contact sheet. Have any of you guys made a contact sheet from Photoshop yet?
No.
No? Okay, well, I'm going to go through that again tonight as well, show you how to make a contact sheet from, it says here from a total of 5 dresses. So if that's the case, 5 dresses, that means you're going to also have to save a JPEG of the original dress as well. So let me make a note of that so I don't mess that up. So it's all 5 dresses. All right, all 5 dresses. Okay. And need a reminder how to create a contact sheet. Here's another video for you. This is not one of my videos, but this is a video. You can watch this, and this video will show you exactly how to make a contact sheet. But I'm going to try to get to it tonight and show you how to do it. It's not that difficult. It's just really a matter of making a selection from a menu, and it pretty much does it for you. Very simple. Your contact sheet should have 3 rows and 3 columns. I really don't know what they're talking about. There's only 5 images. There's no way that I guess it's 3 rows. I don't know how it's going to have 3 rows and 3 columns if you've got 5 images. That's not possible. You're going to have 2 rows and 3 columns, or you're going to have 3 rows and 2 columns. I don't know. It's not possible with 6 images. Am I nuts, or am I just missing something here?
No. My only question is, let's see, number 6, create a contact sheet of all 4 recolored dresses, because we're only doing 1.
Yeah, recolored dresses, including the original. What you're doing,
Right, so,
you're taking.
We'll only have 2.
You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the original 5. So this is the same dress, but swatch 1, the dress has been recolored to swatch 1. Swatch 2, the dress is recolored to swatch 2. Swatch 3, the dress is recolored to swatch 3. Swatch 4, the dress is.
Okay, so we're going to recolor our 1 image into the 4 colors.
That's what I'm going to be demonstrating tonight. So I haven't demonstrated that yet. So tonight, when I get into working, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do all 3 of the dresses. All right, we'll try to get through all 3 of the dresses so that you have plenty of opportunity to watch me do this and see how it looks, and give you an idea of what's acceptable for you to do with yours. This is a lot easier than you think it might be. It really is not that difficult. And there's some very logical things that go on here that I'm going to show you how to do. Once you understand this, it'll make it very easy for you in the future if you have to do something like this, all right? All right, so are we good with this so far, everybody? You think you're clear? Any other questions on it?
Yeah, I'm going to log in with my iPad so I can follow you on my Mac.
You have to say that again because I couldn't understand what you said.
Okay, I'm going to log out of I'm going to leave the meeting so I can log back in with my iPad so I can follow what you're doing on my Mac.
Go ahead.
All right, cool.
That's fine. All right, but everybody else is good here?
Yes.
Are we good?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So your contact sheet, save your backup, save and back up your native PSD file. You're going to save this for the future, okay, in case you want to put this into your portfolio, or maybe at some point your portfolio instructor might want you to actually work on this. Who knows? I mean, just you always save and back up things. You never know when you're going to bring it back out and want to refer to it for whatever reason. So just make sure you do that. You're going to export these things as JPEGs. Settings in the file, export drop-down menu, optimize your JPEG for less than 1 megabyte. Name your contact sheet. All right, so you're just going to name your contact sheet. Submit your JPEG for grading. Name your contact sheet. Assignment 2, first, last JPEG. I guess what it's telling you to do is submit this as a JPEG. I would have thought that they were submitting this as a PDF, but all right, let me just see. Hold on, I'll make a note here. So this is going to be save. I haven't done this, so I'm making notes so I can remember what to do. Save contact sheet as JPEG. All right, and we'll give that a try and see how that works out. All right, so let's move down, see what we got here. I think this is pretty much all it. All right, so this is how you name it. Yeah, and again, it's telling you JPEG, so apparently submit a contact sheet of all 5 dresses as a single JPEG. Yeah, so all the dresses are going to be on that one contact sheet. Don't submit the PSD files, save them for future editor. So yeah, so really then what you're doing in the end is just submitting a JPEG for grading. Is that everybody good with that? You know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so if there are no other questions about this, this is our assignment. This week's assessment is a quiz. I'm told that I have to be very careful about, you know, what I explain for the quiz. All I can tell you is that it's an open book quiz. There might be time limits on each one of your questions, but more than likely you should be able to, if you have a backup window open, you should be able to research and answer the question very quickly and get the question right. And that's how I would handle a test like that. And it's not cheating, by the way. Okay? Are we good? I guess so. All right. So now I'm moving into Photoshop. So here's Photoshop. And let me go to the View menu and fit on screen. So here's one of our little masks here. All right. So here's the girl. So what I did basically was I created this mask. Now, I demonstrated how to create the mask using the quick selection tool by just clicking and dragging, and I basically get a roughed out mask. Now, if you remember from last night, there were a couple of areas. I'm going to select, deselect, because I already did this. I created a mask, okay, right there, and I masked my dress. Now, the problem I have with this dress is a couple of things. Number one, the area here was too close to the color purple of the dress, and I picked up this area as well. Now, I could try to go in there with my quick selection tool, and I could try to hold down the, well, let me see, actually, since it's not selected, I can click on this. See, I can try to select this, but it doesn't do a super, it did a decent job. There's a little bit of a mark up there. If I you know, paint this over, if I got my mask here, see, if I go to my mask, that's black and white. So what I want to do is I want to take a black, and I want to paint with black. Let me see, make that a little bit bigger. See, if I paint that with black, it's gone, okay? Edit, undo, paint on brush, and let's go select, deselect. Okay, so that's one way to do it, and I'd still have to go up there and work on that little area at the top which didn't select. So did you see what I just did there, guys? Have any question about that? I basically just painted on the mask. I selected that area and painted it out. If you look at these masks, this is a very important thing for you to understand. The areas that are black are the areas that the mask is holding back. It's not showing you those parts. Wherever there's white on your mask,
It's going to reveal.
What?
Oh, it's going to reveal
Yeah.
what you're.
Yes, right. So whatever's black, you're not going to see. Whatever's white, you're going to see. So if you're going to be painting something out this way, the way to do it would be to, you know, select the area, and then if you're going to try to get rid of this area, you paint it with the black, and it's gone. All right, now, so that's the way to do it with the quick selection tool. And that mask is already created. So what I'm doing now is I'm cleaning up and refining the mask. So that's one way to do it. And I did the same thing to select everything. Look, Control Z. I did the same thing to select everything. I basically went in here, you know, and I used my quick selection tool to select my entire dress. Okay? All right. Now, the other thing that I did that I want to show you is I showed you how to use the Polygon Lasso tool right here. The Polygon Lasso tool to come in here and very kind of carefully, just sort of work my way around the edge of this dress with the Polygon Lasso tool, like I'm doing here. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to continue working around that dress. And I'm going to actually, what I'm doing is I'm creating a selection that I'm going to isolate and color. The Polygon Lasso tool really does a pretty good job at doing this. Right? I'm almost done. Come down a little bit more. And I'm not doing the most exact job here because I don't want to spend forever on it, but and now I'm going to come over here and I got my selection. So you see what the Polygon Lasso tool was able to do for me very quickly?
Yep.
Okay. And then all I'm going to do is get the paintbrush tool again, make sure that I'm on my mask, and since I want that to go away, make sure that the black is showing, and then just paint it away. There you go. Select, deselect, and let's go edit, step backwards, bring it back. Let's go edit, step backwards. There we go, and select, deselect. Okay, so there are two ways that you can select things, or you can go in and you can clean up areas that you have to clean up, which is what's going to happen on this dress. Again, I did this last night, kind of like a little review. So anybody got any questions about that so far?
No.
Okay. Now, one thing I didn't show you last night was the use of the pen tool. Have any of you guys used the pen tool in Adobe Photoshop?
Yes, I have.
You have. Okay. How do you feel? Are you comfortable with it?
Now I am. In the beginning,
good.
I wasn't.
Okay. How about Illustrator? Are you comfortable with it in Illustrator?
Yeah, pretty much.
They function pretty much the same, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, not exactly, but similar.
Right.
Now, the reason I didn't show you the pen tool last night, how many of you, who is in here who has no experience with the pen tool? Don't be afraid, just tell me.
Me, Lori, I am terrible with the pen tool.
Okay. Anybody else? That's good enough. So my point is that the pen tool is great. It really does nice selections, but it's more, there's more work involved in it. And the problem that I have with it is that I find that generally speaking, I can move quicker by using the Polygon Lasso tool than the pen tool. Now, I'm going to demonstrate just selecting this little area again using the pen tool. And the reason I want to do this is I want to show you the difference between how to do it this way and how to do it with the Polygon Lasso. And my hope is that after you watch me do it with the Polygon Lasso, and then after you watch me do it with this pen tool, you're going to be able to clearly see that the Polygon Lasso tool is faster and probably nearly as good as what you're going to get with your pen tool. So it's the logical way to go. Unless you have really exacting shapes that you want to get. If you're really struggling to get a complex shape, you may go to the pen tool to do that. But the Polygon Lasso tool generally is a way to go. So first of all, I'm going to click on the pen tool. All right, there's my pen tool. One of the most important things for you to do is up here in the properties bar. See at the top there? See where I am? Right there? Everybody? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do I have selected? What does it say?
Half.
There you go. Okay, so guys, there are several different options here. This is what I'm pointing out. There is shape, there is path, there's pixels. I would probably go with path. Okay, I would go with path. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find my starting position, which, as I've been doing before, is been right about here. So I click and I place my first anchor point. Then I'm going to move up, I don't know, maybe to about here on the curve of her hip. And I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag until I lay that line pretty much down on that curve of her hip. So you see how I did that? Are you good, everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over that anchor point, and I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key. And you see what happens to my little pen tool when I hit the Alt or the Option key? Can you see the little cursor change underneath it? It's an inverted V.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Convert Anchor Point tool. I clicked that anchor point, and did you see that little line retract?
Yep.
Okay, now the reason I did that is so that when I click this point, I can direct the line myself. And I'm going to hold the Alt key down again, and click, and then I'm going to move way up to here. I'm looking, see, I got a curve that kind of runs to about here. So I'm going to bring it way up there, and I'm just going to kind of follow that curve. Hold down the Alt key and click on that anchor point. Now this comes cameling out a little bit, so I'm going to come to about here, and I'm going to click, and I'm a little bit off, but that's all right, you know. And I'm going to, you know, make that line follow that curve. I kind of screwed that one up. I'm a little off. Hold down the Control key and click, and then this one curves like this, so I'm going to bring it in like that, curve it in like that. Hold down the Alt key, click again. Then I'm going to come right up here to where her pit is, and hold down the Control key and click again. Always look for that little, when you hold the Control key, the Alt key, Alt or Option key, when you hold that down, you're always looking for that little inverted V. Okay, everybody cool with that? Alt or Option. Now, I'm going to come all the way down to here, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag that line out a little bit. Hold down the Alt key and click again on that anchor point. And then this one here kind of camels out slightly, so I'm just going to bring it out a tiny bit. Alt or Option, click. All right, and then I'm going to come to here, and I'm going to bring that one out. See what I'm doing? I'm following the contours, and click Option. Alt or Option, and then I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag that one out. Alt or Option. Come around to here, like that. Alt or Option, come down to about here, drag it out like that. See how much more work this is, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So this is a lot more work, isn't it? Now, if I was really doing this, if I was really trying to do this with genuine sincerity, I would even take more time, and I would make sure that, you know, I got this right. Now, just like you do in Illustrator, after you get down to the last point, you come to where you started and click, and that closes your graphic shape. Does everybody see what I did here? Does anybody got any questions so far about what I did? Is it clear what I did?
It's clear.
Okay, and guys, I'm not saying I want you to do this. I'm showing you this because it's part of my job to show you how to generate selections. And this is one way to do it. This is not my favorite way to do it. This is my backup way when I need really exact, tight lines. When I need something that's really tight, I go to this. If I don't need lines that are incredibly tight, which is generally most of the time, instead of using my pen tool, that's the guy that I use right there, the Polygon Lasso tool. It's a lot quicker. So now I have my selection. See it? I have to go to my Path panel. The Path panel is found in the Windows menu right there, the Path panel, okay? Path panel. So you bring the Path panel out, and right now I have this selection in my Path panel called Work Path. And what that is that thing right there. That's my work path. That's what they're calling this. Now, what I can do is I can convert this. I can save this as a selection if I wanted to. I don't really have any need to because I'm not going to use it more than once. And this is really just a demonstration anyway. But what I can do is I can come up to the little pancake menu here. See the little menu there? And click on that. And I can go down to Make Selection. Look. And I even can feather it if I want. I can put a feather on it. So let me just, for the heck of it, let me put a 1 pixel feather on it and hit OK. And look at, what did it do? Can you see what it did?
It selected it and feathered it, masked it.
Exactly. But my point is, compared to what I just did with the Polygon Lasso tool, is this easier and quicker?
No, it's very
more work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, more work. So my point is that I just showed you how to do it because you need to know that it's a tool that you can rely on and you can use, but it is not one of the more efficient tools in this particular case. That's my whole purpose for showing you this, is that you can use it, and in certain instances, when you have the right condition, this is a great way to go. It gives you really exact lines, but Polygon Lasso tool can do the same thing very quickly and give you nearly the same result. okay? And again, what I would do now that I got my selection, obviously, would be to go and make sure I got my mask selected and come over here and then just get my paint brush and then brush my thing away. Now notice, watch this. Notice that, did you see the feathering? You see how that got feathered? I put a pixel of feathering on it. Can you see that that's been, let me go select, deselect. Can you see how that became soft?
Yes.
Yeah, that's soft because I feathered it, guys, okay? That's the feathering that I put on there. Now, I wouldn't probably normally want that feathering. I just did it because I wanted to show you how to do it. This is not my mask. This is not what I'm going to use. This was just a demonstration because I didn't use the pen tool last night, and I thought I probably should at least show you how that works. So what do you guys think? Is that clear what I did? Does it make sense?
Yes, it made sense.
You're okay with it? It was a good enough demonstration for you?
Yes.
All right. All right. So let's go view. That's fit in. That's 100%. No, let's go fit in window. Fit on screen. There we go. All right. Now, so let's go back to our layers. So this is the layer that I'm working on. I'm going to delete this layer because it was only something I was using to show you. This is the actual layer that I'm going to use, and this is really what I worked on last night. Okay. I left off by creating this dress. And then I created this dress over here, right, last night. And I created this. Remember those three last night? These are exactly what I left off with last night. I know that Lori was here. Who else was here? Margaret?
I was, yeah, Margaret.
Okay, and Raven wasn't. So Margaret and Lori were here. So you saw me do these things, right?
Yes.
You have any questions about what I did with them? Because now would be the time to ask me.
I don't.
You're good.
No, I'm good.
And what I did essentially, just so that you can verify this for me, what I did essentially was I worked with this selection tool right here, the quick selection tool. I did most of the selecting using the quick selection tool. I then zoomed in on it, and in certain instances, I used the quick selection tool to remove some of the selection and to add to some of the selection. And then the tricky bits where I was having trouble getting, I went in and I used my Polygon Lasso tool right there. Right, guys? Isn't that what I did?
Exactly.
Right. And those two tools gave me everything I needed to get those selections done, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, on this dress, one thing that I did on this dress was I went into the masking. All right. I went into my, hold on a minute. Let me click on this and let me go select and mask. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this, but I came into select and mask. Do you guys remember me doing select and mask?
Yep.
Right. And the purpose of select and mask was to smooth this dress out a little bit. And I used my smooth, and I used my contrast, and I believe my shift edge is what I think I used. But you know what? I don't exactly remember right now, but if you watch my video, you can see where I used smooth and mask and what it did to the edge of this dress. It made it nice and smooth. So look for that in the video, and I'm going to hit cancel. And all it is to get there is this. You just make sure you got your mask selected by clicking on it. See, now I got the picture selected. See the highlighting? I select the mask. Now there's the highlighting. And I go to the select menu, select and mask, and it goes in the properties. And there it is in the properties. And then basically just follow my direction. And again, what I did was I had this thing zoomed in. And you could see. Can you see how nice and smooth that is? This is actually pretty smooth. And the reason this is smooth is because I applied my properties here. I actually went in and I smoothed it, and I bumped up the contrast, and I believe I shift the edge. That's why this is smooth. If you looked at my other one, the one that I was just working on, did you notice that it was kind of jaggy on its edge?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that from last night, right?
Right.
Right. So you can see this is what I'm saying is this gets nice and smooth now, so it's actually a very nice selection. Okay? So those are the things that I basically showed last night regarding how to work on these three dresses. So let's go to the view menu again, and let me fit this on screen. All right, now, so what we're going to do is let me bring the layers out because I'm going to need the layers pretty much for this right now. All right, let me make this shorter. I'm not going to add any layers to this, but I want to get the layers out here a little bit, and I want to show you my colors. So here's my colors. I imported my colors onto the page. I just went File, Place, and I placed those colors in there. And here's my actual dress layer, and here's the actual background layer. So what's happening is that dress is still on her in the background, but I actually masked the layer, and you can see when I hide it, you can't see any difference because the background layer is the same as that mask layer. But if I hide this, you see what I'm saying? There's the mask. That's the image that we're going to recolor. I'm going to use this background and leave this background alone. This right here is what I'm going to use to recolor. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you how to do this both ways. I'm going to show you how to do this by going down and doing a layer adjustment right here. Okay? I don't like the layer adjustment, and I'm going to end up throwing it away and doing it another way, but I want to show you how to do it. Margaret, were you the one that was saying that last night? Were you the one that was saying that you did this using a layer adjustment?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could change the color of the dress, and so all I did was the hue and saturation.
Yeah, you changed the color with the hue.
Yeah.
And it did change color.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, but it was a little bit hard to control, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, because then you can't pick your swatch color that you want.
You can, but you have to do an awful lot of finoodling to do it. That's my point. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how that works, and I'm going to show you that if you didn't have very specific colors, so you got these very specific colors here. If you didn't have these very specific colors, you could go in there and you could generate a whole lot of really cool colors using that method. But when you're dealing with very specific colors like that, you have to think of another operation. Okay? Now, the first thing I want to point out to you is something that you probably never even considered. This dress is purple, isn't it? It's not black. It's not gray. It's not white. It's purple. Am I right?
Correct.
Now, if you put color, if you blend one color into another color, what do you think is going to happen? The two colors are going to intermix, aren't they?
Yeah, the correct color is not going to show up.
Right. So if I decide that I want to take something red and blend it into that purple, am I going to end up with red?
No.
There you go. So that tells me that in order to pull this off, I have to neutralize that dress. Do you know what I mean when I say neutralize it? I have to make the color go away. I have to turn it into gray. And depending upon the level of gray, I will get a certain percentage of darkness to the color I blend into it instead of color. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Ideally, if you want a brilliant red dress, that dress should be completely white. And then you put that red over it, and it would be absolute pure red dress. But it wouldn't have any details because there's details involved in it. See all the shadowing where the dress contours over her body? You need all that in order to make it look real, right?
Right.
Okay, but we do have to get rid of the color. We have to get that color out of here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that picture. See how I've got that picture selected? You can always tell when you got something selected. Watch when I select that mask. Can you see the little white outline around it? See what I'm pointing at?
Yeah, the frame.
Yeah, that's telling me that right now my focus is on that mask. I want the focus to be on that picture because what I'm going to do is I'm going to desaturate that picture. That's step number one. I'm going to desaturate that picture. What desaturating means, it's going to take all the color away and it's just going to make everything gray. Okay? So I'm going to go to Image, Adjust, and I'm going to go down to where it says Desaturate. So Image, Adjust, Desaturate. You got that, guys?
Yep.
Now let go, And what did it do? Look at the dress.
It lightened it a tad.
Well, no, it turned it gray.
Turned it right. Yeah, dark
See
gray.
it? Turned it gray. Now, it looks great, but the problem is and actually gray would be a nice color for that dress. But here's the deal. The deal is it's probably too dark. We've got this camel color here, and we have this green here, which is kind of light. Now, this teal probably would be just fine with that gray. It might work actually pretty good. But these colors here might be a problem, and this color probably would be a problem. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to now lighten the gray on this. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to my adjustments. See where I am here on my layers, my adjustments? And I'm going to click on the adjustments, and I'm going to go to levels. And I get this. There's my properties. There's my levels slider. Have you guys ever looked at levels before?
I have not.
Okay. So basically, let me explain what levels do. They show you three things. They show you the darks, they show you the mid-range, or the grays, and they show you the whites. And you can use these little sliders to move them around and adjust the levels of whatever this thing is acting on. Now, here's the thing that I want to do. I don't want this thing to be acting on everything beneath it. Okay, right now, this levels adjustment is going to show everything. Whatever I do to this level is going to show on both of these layers. I only want it to show on this one layer right here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and I'm going to come up, and you see when I reach that point that is between those two layers, you see what it does? See what my little mouse is doing, my little cursor is doing?
Yeah.
Right. What it's telling me is that by holding down the Alt key and clicking there, do you see how that level adjustment moved over?
Uh-huh.
Right. Now it is only being active on this one layer. And what I can do with this is I can come over here. Look at you see how it's acting only on my dress? Look at the dress went black. See that?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so it's only working on this gray dress. Now what I want to do is I want to lighten this dress a bit. All right, so I'm going to start by bringing the white over, and let's see how far I can get that white over. I can bring it over to about there. Then I'll try maybe the grays. Let's see if I can bring the grays out. I'm trying to lighten that dress up. The reason I'm lightening the dress up is because, see how I'm lightening that dress? I'm trying to be very careful how I do this. I'm going to go a little bit further. Now let's try the white again. Yeah, see, that's about as far as I can go with the white. I shouldn't go much further than that. I could probably go a little further with that. There we go. That's pretty good. And now what I want to do is I want to maybe bump up the black just a touch. There, you see what I did? See how I've lightened that? And I could probably even lighten it a little bit more. See how much I've lightened that dress?
Yeah.
Watch. Look. Amazing. I lightened it quite a bit, didn't I? See what I did? Does anybody got any question about what I just did there?
No, I'm
No.
Do you understand why I'm doing it?
Yes.
So basically, the reason that I'm doing this is because my next step is to create a layer above this dress that has these colors in it. And I'm going to use blend modes to blend that layer with those colors into that dress, coloring it. That makes sense to you guys?
Yes.
All right. So here's where we do this. I'm going to click here on this layer, and I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to call this layer red, R-E-D. Let's start with the red. I'm going to come over here to my thumbnail, my mask thumbnail. I'm going to hold the shift key, not the shift key, the control key, and I'm going to make a selection. So I'm holding the control key down, and I'm clicking that thumbnail to make that selection. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. I've actually clicked on this, and I have that color right there. See how that color is now showing right there?
Right.
Okay. I am going to get my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to come here. I'm on the red layer, and I'm going to click, and it makes that entire dress red. Now I'm going to go select deselect, and I have a red dress. The problem is that the red dress is completely opaque. And if you look at this, you don't really get the sense that that is a red colored dress very much, do you?
No, not at all. It's flat.
It's very flat. This is where the color modes come in. Remember, they talked about color, soft light, and color burn. Those three blend modes are the blend modes that they recommend to color this. So I want to make sure I got the red layer selected. And I'm going to try all three of them so that you can visually see how those blend modes affect that color against that gray dress and what it'll do. And then we will, the group of us will decide which one is the final blend mode for us that will give us something close as possible to that color red. This is exactly what that red should look like. However, it's got to blend into this gray dress in order to give her a three-dimensional quality. You guys understand that, right?
Yeah, it's just like if a mock-up doesn't work right, it looks flat.
That's right. And this looks flat, and we don't want that. We want this to have some dimension. So we're going to use a blend mode to blend this layer, which has got color on it, into this layer, which I've converted into a gray, a very light gray dress version of this. See, there it is. That's what we're going to blend it into. Okay, so the first one that they say is color burn. So let's go to color burn, which is right there. That's what color burn looks like. And that looks pretty good, but it's a little bit on the dark side, isn't it? What do you guys think? Look at it.
Yeah, it's too
looks
much.
a little bit dark.
Looks too
Yes.
dark now.
All right. So then the next one is soft light. Come down, and soft light is right there. So let's try soft light. Now that one is it looks kind of washed out, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's been washed too many times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then let's try another one. The one that I think might work would be color. And color. Actually, color is a little bit on the light side too. So in this particular case, color probably isn't the best bet. What we probably do here is go back up and let's try color burn again. And color burn, I guess, is probably going to be the one that's going to do the best for us. The only other option that we have, perhaps, is to go back into here and see if I can lighten this up even further. Now, you see, I've actually maxed this thing out pretty much. I really pushed that to the degree. That's about as good as I'm going to get. All right, I've really pushed that mid-range right on up until the black. The black is going to, let's bring the black in a little bit. See, I went too far with that. Let's bring it back. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Okay, so there you have the red. All right, what do you think of that? Does that work for you? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's the closest you're going to get to it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It is.
Yeah. Now, the key to this whole thing is, do you understand how I did this? And do you guys think that you'd be able to replicate this?
Yeah, I just have to look at it a few more times.
All right, so let me explain something to you. Once we've done this, let me show you something here. Once we've done this, okay, unless we went in and we played around with this, the levels, which I'm probably going to try to avoid doing. What I can do is I can take these three layers like that, and I can create a layer group out of it like that. And I'm going to call this dress, D-R-E-S-S. So now I have my layer group called dress, okay? And I'm going to leave that alone. Now that I've done this, I got my red dress built already, haven't I? My red dress is done. All I have to do is the green, the camel, and the teal. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to, well, I could probably do it that way. I'm going to create three more layers. Let me create three more layers. Three more layers. So this is red. This is going to be green. This one is going to be camel. And this one is going to be teal. Okay, so teal. All right, so now I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to make a selection I'm holding down the control key and clicking the thumbnail, and I'm getting my selection, right? Do you know what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay. Hold down the control key, click the thumbnail, get my selection, go to my green layer. The first thing I'm going to do is get my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to sample the green. Okay, and I have a 5x5 average sample. Okay, that's that. Just so that you know what I'm doing, right, guys?
Yes.
And see the green come up. See the green come up.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm just going to get my paint bucket tool, make sure I'm on the green layer, and I'm going to click, and now that goes green. So I'm going to hide that layer. And while I got the selection still going, I'm going to move to the camel layer. I'm just shooting through these to get all 4 of these done, so that I can then go in and I can tweak the color on all of them. But I get them out of the way, get the color put in all out of the way. It's making sense what I'm doing so far?
Yes, it really is.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to grab the eyedropper tool again. And I'm going to click on a 5x5 sample right in the middle of that camel. And now I got my camel color. And I make sure I'm on the camel layer. And I'm going to take the bucket tool and click and drop it. There it is. Now I'm going to hide the red layer. All right, so now I'm only showing the camel layer. Let's hide that. And now I'm on the teal layer, so I click the teal layer. And I come over here and I click the eyedropper tool. And I select the teal color. Okay, there's the teal color, 5x5 swatch sample. Get the paint bucket tool and dump it right into the dress. And now I can go select, deselect. And I now have all 5 colors. My original down here, I got the red, the green, the camel, and the teal. All I have to do now is come into my each individual layer and go up to my layers panel, and let's see which layer is going to work best for this particular color. So the choices I have are color burn. Let's see what color burn looks like. That looks like color burn, and I don't know, to me it looks too dark. So let's try another. The next one is soft light. Let's go in and see what soft light looks like. And that is way too light. So let's go in and let's try color. And you see that's a little bit too light. So we're going to go back to color burn again. And we may be stuck with color burn, but I have to tell you something, boy, color burn really doesn't show very well.
That's almost black.
It's almost black. So let's just hold off on that one for a minute, and let's take a look at the others and see how the others go. So here's the camel. So let's go into color burn for the camel, and that's not bad, but it's probably not exactly right either. So let's go to what is it? Soft light? Yeah, soft light. That's really not. Soft light just simply doesn't work. Color should do it. There, color.
That's better.
On this one, color works well. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
So we're going to leave color on that one. I believe color is going to also work for the green. So let's select the green. Let me go in here and let me make the selection on the green here. Hold on. Where are you at here? The eyedropper tool. What am I doing? There we go. On the green, right? Yeah, green. Okay, so we select the green. There's the green. And let's get the paint bucket tool. We got to first of all select this. So let me go back in here and hold down the control key and click. And now what we're going to do is let's show it, the green, and we're going to dump it in like that. Oh, actually, it's already done. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm confusing myself. There's the green. Okay, we're going to overlay it. Let's try color first because I think color will work. Yeah, see, color works really good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Color works pretty good. So all of these work with the exception of teal. So let's do this. So the assignment is, let's go select, deselect. So the assignment is ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to export all of these pictures, all right? And I'm going to create, I have a folder over here called contact sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go file, save as, I believe save as will do it. Yes, it will. JPEG right there. And I'm going to call this, let's go, this is dress for, which one is this? Green? Do I have green showing? Yeah, green. Green. Dress for green JPEG. And let me go to my desktop, to my contact sheet. Dress for green. See, I actually have these in here, so I'm going to hit save. I actually did them earlier. So I hit OK. And now I got my green one done. Now let's do the red one. All right, so we're going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change it to JPEG, and this is going to be dress4_red. You're going to name it the way they tell you to name it. I'm just naming it this way for speed. Hit Desktop and go to Contact Sheet, and let's go to Open and Dress4Red and JPEG Save. There we go. And hit OK. And now we're going to go to Tan, hide the red, and let's go. Notice that when I have the red showing, you see how when you have the red and the camel together, do you see how radically it changes the color? Because the two colors are overlapping each other.
Right, right.
Okay. The reason you're getting this nice tan color is because I neutralized that dress and turned it gray. So do you see the logic behind doing that?
Yeah, from the beginning there.
There you go. So that's why I did it. It's not just some stupid thing that I'm doing. Okay. So this is camel. Let's go File, Save As, and let's go in here, and this is going to be Dress4 Camel, C-A-M-E-L, and save it as a JPEG. And it's also going to go into Desktop, Contact Sheet, Save. All right. Hit OK. Now let's go down and let's do the original. What the hell, right? Let's do the original. Let's hide all this stuff here, and let's just do the original. Here's the original. Oh, I know why, because there we go. Close that, and there's my original. So this is original. Let's go File, Save As, and this is going to be my Dress4 Original _ ORIGINAL original. And we're going to come up here to Desktop, Contact Sheet, Dress4 Original, JPEG, right? Everybody good with what I'm doing? It's not confusing anybody, is it?
No.
Good. All right. So we're in business. Now, the only thing that's left for us to do here is to see what we can do about this teal. So we got this teal, and it's a real problem because it's so dark. I'm not exactly sure what to do about this other than see if there's any way that I can maybe add to this. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can add I'm just guessing because I don't recall this having this problem with it last time. I'm going to try a brightness and contrast only on that teal layer. Okay, and now let's see if I can maybe bring that up. Yeah, I'm bringing it up, but it's getting awfully distorted and purpley looking. That's actually helping. That's actually helping quite a bit.
That's a lot better.
All right, so that does help quite a bit. What do you guys think? Is that good enough for me to get a pass on or what? How does that?
I would think so. I think it looks much, much better than the previous.
What do you got? What do you other guys think?
I like it. That looks a lot better.
Looks more like this color, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, so you see what I did essentially was, and here's the other thing. I'm going to make sure that I have this thing. Yeah, I have it on that layer. I only have this being applied to that teal. That's the important thing. When I brought this up, I came here with the Alt key and I clicked between the layers and I made it just apply to that teal, no other. So if I hide this, it's not affecting that. It's just affecting the teal one. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
Are there any questions about any of this?
Not so far.
None of it's really that difficult, right? I'm trying to keep it simple. You guys think it's relatively simple, would you say?
I do.
Okay, good. All right. I just as long as you guys will be able to do it. I don't want to, I'm not trying to make this into a nightmare. So last thing I want to do now is go File, Save As, and then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to call this Dress4, I'll call it Teal, T-E-A-L, Teal. And again, this is going to be a JPEG, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to put it in my contact sheet and hit Save and hit OK. So now I have this one done, and this is basically how I did it. All right? So again, if we had the ability to do this using artboards, we could do this as a series of 4 artboards. But you guys were right here watching me do this. Did I have any trouble creating those dresses and making those dresses adequately match the colors that are supplied?
No, not at all.
Would you guys say that they're pretty close?
Yes.
So if you guys were to deliver something like this to me, I'd have no trouble giving you a passing grade for it. That's my point. So basically, that's how you do this. That's the best way that I can tell you to do this in this particular context. Is it the only way to do this? No. I just think in reality, it's probably the most direct and easy way to do it. And it gives you a pretty darn good result, which is what you see here. Okay. Now, the thing to keep in mind is I modified this the levels on all of these. So this has been modified now. That level is modified, and it's going to affect all of those. But I don't see where it affects any of them really that bad. They still look pretty darn good, even that I've made that adjustment for the teal. Most of the adjustment, see the adjustment for this one here, I left the tan on, but the adjustment mostly is up here. And that one that I used was brightness and saturation. And if you want to even see the settings, when I did this, the brightness has been dragged over to approximately 93, and contrast is -47. I don't know what use legacy will look like. Let me click and see what kind of nonsense happens if I hit legacy. Yeah, see, it doesn't work very well. So I just blew that out. So I think it was 97. Let's see, 97, right? 98, 97. And I forget, -41. -41, I think. 41, let's see. 41. 41. I think that was it, right? Does that look about right?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe I actually darken it just a touch. I like that a little bit better. I think I like that just a touch better. Let me see contrast. Bring the contrast back. Bring the contrast up. I like that just a touch better, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the other one, or is this okay?
I think it's fine.
This one looks all right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to just...
I like that one better than the darker one.
So I'm just going to come back in and go save as, and then I'm just going to replace that one with this one for teal. T-E-A-L, teal. And again, it's going to be just a JPEG. I'm trying to make this simple, guys. I really am. Desktop, contact sheet. Now, this should overwrite it. Save. Yep, overwrite it. Yes. And now we have that one hit OK. All right, so that one's done. Any questions at all? Should you choose to do this one? There it is. That's how you do it. You good?
I'm good.
Are you ready to do another one?
Sure.
All right, so let's go in and let's do this one. This one is actually pretty fun. Let's do this one.
I have to go.
Go ahead.
Catch the recording.
That's fine.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See you later.
All right, this one is fun. So here's the deal. The same thing is going to take place. I've created a layer, and on the layer I've masked out my my fringe, because that's what I really want to recolor. I don't want to recolor the entire dress, because I mentioned this to you before. The dress is black. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take the black dress and try to change the color of a black dress. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I think actually the fringe, when we go to change the fringe color, it's actually pretty dramatic. So, again, I think you'll really enjoy seeing this. So let's bring her back, and let me come in here and let me click on this thing to select this there. So I got my fringe selected, right? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go, actually, I don't think I have to select the fringe. Let me go select deselect, and let me just make sure she's selected, and let's go image, adjust, and let's go desaturate. There we go, desaturate. So that's what she looks like. There's a little bit of yellow peeking here and there, guys. And if I really wanted to clean this up, I would go in and you see the little bits of yellow that are still showing? See what I'm looking at here? There's a little tiny bit of yellow. I'm not going to bother going after them, but if I were really serious about this, I'd go in and I'd fix them. All right, but I got this thing desaturated. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure this is selected, and I want to put a levels adjustment on this again, just like I did before. Let me bring the properties over here. And I'm going to make sure that the level adjustment only is on this layer. And I'm going to do that by sitting my cursor between the 2 layers, and I get holding the Alt key or the Option key, I get that, and I click, and now this is going to be only on that desaturated layer. And what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going to get rid of some of that color. Lighten this thing up, brighten it up like that. That really looks great.
I need to get off of here too, but I'll catch the rest of this on the recording. Thank you.
That's fine. That's fine. Are you okay with what I've been doing so far, though? Is it clear enough? Do you have any problems with any of it?
Oh no, it's already it's clear, and following along with you, I've actually got my assignment almost done. So thank you.
Okay, great. Have a good night.
Good for you.
Laura, you're hanging in there like a trooper. I thought you were on death's door. You're doing good.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I have a question, and it's on subject, but it's kind of off subject. Okay, so say we have a client that is in a black dress and they want it to be a light green like in the previous one that you just did.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, how do you my husband's here with me trying to support me through this. What was my question?
You wanted to make a black dress green?
Yeah. How do you lighten up the black enough?
Well, you're only going to be able to push it so far, because what happens is
like the teal.
Yeah, you're only going to be able to push it so far because it's black. That's the problem. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not really having you do the the black, is because you can only push it so far.
Just so much. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I can lighten this up quite a bit if I wanted to, and then I could dump color over it, but it wouldn't look as good as if I just focus on the fringe, which is incredibly dramatic. When I do the fringe, it's wildly dramatic. So that's really why I'm doing the fringe only, because it's very dramatic.
Even that teal, if it wasn't for the color saturation, I don't think it would have looked good.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. The whole point is I'm trying to show you how to think about working with this program, because this part of the program we're talking about managing color, how to adjust color. I showed you 2 methods: by using levels, by desaturating the image, turning that fringe from the bright orange that it is, a yellow, I should say, from that bright yellow that it is, turning it into white.
Yeah. I
can now put color into this, and the color is going to be vivid and beautiful.
If
I put any color, if I put the teal over top of that yellow, the teal and the yellow are going to merge together, and you're going to get a muddy color.
Right, exactly. Whether it's on a swatch or a color you make up, it's
going to overlay into a color, and now it's going to overlay into a white gray condition. Going to look. All right, so first of all, we're going to level this down, make it light as we can. I didn't push it any further than I thought I had to. I'm now going to, I'm on this layer right here. I'm going to produce 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4 layers again. Layer 1 is going to be red. Okay, oh, and by the way, do I have I didn't import this. Let me go file place. Hold on. Place linked. Let me go in here to my desktop, into intermediate imaging editing, week 2, color swatches 1, and place. I want to get the color swatches in here because you want to see the color that you're working with. Place. So there's your color swatches, okay? So, and color swatches, I'm going to drag that all the way to the top, bring it all the way up at the top. All right, so my layer 1, I've lost a layer doing this, so let me make one more layer. Okay, so layer number 2 is going to be red, R-E-D. Red. And then layer number 5, the next one is going to be green, G-R-E-E-N. And this next one is going to be camel, C-A-M-E-L. And then this one here is going to be teal, T-E-A-L. All right, so again, isn't it exactly the same steps really that I did in the other? I'm just creating 4 layers. And I'm going to come down here, hold the control key down, click, and I get a selection of my mask area, right? See, there's my little selection of mask area. And then what I'm going to do is go to my red layer. And over here, you see there's a color green. So I want to start with the red. So I'm going to get the eyedropper, click on the red. 5x5 sample is pretty much what I'm doing. And then the paint bucket tool to just dump it. And there is my red. I'm going to hide the red. I'm going to move to the green. And I'm doing this just kind of like boom, 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 getting part of it out of the way. After I get it all out of the way, then I'll start playing around with the blend modes and see if I get what I need, okay? So I got my green now. I'm going to do the same thing with the eyedropper. Come in here, 5x5 average sample, click on it. It goes green. And I'm on the green layer. I come over here, and I dump the green. And now I got green on that layer, and I hide it. And then I click on the camel layer. And I'm going to, again, get my eyedropper tool, 5x5 sample, click on it. There's my tan camel, and then I'm going to get my paint bucket tool on the camel layer, click, and there's my camel, hide it, and it's still selected. Go to teal, and eyedropper teal, like this, and then there it is. Get my paint bucket tool, I'm on the teal layer, and there's my teal. Select, deselect. So there you have it, okay? Now, again, as I say, I'm looking at this, and I can tell you right off the bat that I haven't made the best possible selection that I could, but you get the general idea. And in other words, if you were going to do this, if I was really doing this, if this was a real job and money was behind it, it would be perfect. Right now, it's just a demonstration. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, let's start with the easier ones first. So the easiest one would be the red. So let's click on the red, and let's go in here, and let's try working with color. And actually, that seems a little weak to me. So let's try the color burn. There you go. Now
there we go.
That looks pretty hot, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so color burn for this one, I would go File, Save As, and I'd save it. I'm not going to do that because I already did it for the one, okay? So now I'm going to hide this layer, and let's bring the green layer up. What are we going to do with the green layer? Let's try coming in here, and let's try using soft light. And actually, that is kind of nice. So maybe that might work for this one. It's got kind of very soft color. That might work okay.
Yeah.
Let's try color, though. Now, oh, there you go. See, now on this one, I think I like the color.
Yeah.
So this one, what I would probably do, see, and this is important because one of the things that it was talking about were these different blend modes. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that in certain instances, one blend mode is going to work a little bit better than the other blend mode is going to work. So in this particular case, I think you can see that being demonstrated here. So on the red layer, we got color burn, okay? On the green layer, we have color as opposed to color burn. Now, I don't know what the camel layer is going to use, but let's take a look at it and see. Let's select the camel layer, and let's try color burn on that one. Not bad. Let's go.
Yeah, a little gold maybe.
Yeah, it's a little bit. You know, it reminds me a little bit of like coffee stains. Let's try soft light. It's nice. It's nice, but it's a little too light, I'm afraid. Let's try color. There you go.
There we go.
That's the one. Again, see color. So the point is that I'm only playing with the 3 modes that they recommended in the course. I think the other modes, I think they're right. The other modes probably wouldn't work anywhere near as well as these. But you can easily see by playing around with these modes, you're going to come up with something that'll work for you. Okay? And then you're just going to save these and move on from there. Now, here's the problem one. This is the one that's going to be the heartbreaker. So let's see what happens with this. Let's try color burn. Yeah, it's way too dark. Although it's interesting looking, it's just way too dark. Let's try soft light. Nice. That's not bad, although it's a little bit light. Let's try
baby blue.
Yeah. This is really, that's baby blue.
Yeah,
that's baby blue. So if I was going to do anything, I would probably go with soft light. What's overlay going to do? Actually, overlay is kind of nice. I like overlay. That's another one that they didn't even mention, overlay. So I used overlay on this one, and that actually looks pretty good. So I think what I would do in this particular case is I'd probably go with the overlay, keeping in mind that it's a black dress and we're dealing with fringe. And I would imagine that you wouldn't want the fringe to be a deep, dark teal color anyway. You would want a lighter version of the teal. And that, no doubt, if you look at it, that there's no doubt in my mind that that's based on a teal color.
Exactly. And if it were that color teal up in the swatches, there's hardly no contrast at first when you had it popped up there.
Yeah, it's too dark for fringe.
Exactly.
So this actually works pretty good. So again, we used overlay on this one, and we used color on this one, and we used color on this one, and we used color burn on this one. So I guess that's my point, is that you never exactly know which color mode you're going to use, but you know one thing for sure: you're going to find that one of these color modes will work for you. And again, what you would do is you would just basically, bring up this particular layer, and you'd save this as a JPEG, and then you'd hide this and bring this layer up and save this as a JPEG.
Right.
And then this one you'd save as a JPEG.
Right.
And then this one you'd save as a JPEG, and then you go all the way down to the bottom one, and you would save the original as a JPEG, and those would be what you would do. Okay?
Right.
So
Very clear.
that's the second one. So far, this is easy, right, you guys?
Yeah.
What do you think, Reagan? What's that? Who is that?
Not me. Not me.
You have to shut it off. There you go. Okay. All right. So this is the last one, guys. This is the last one. This one, here's the other option on this one. This one here, I did not cut away all this fancy dark fringe. Now, there's two ways that you can consider this. First of all, you can consider that you could cut that fringe away. I could mask that fringe and leave that fringe dark like it is. I could do that if I wanted to. Or you could assume that in the process of creating this dress, they would use a complementary fringe. So they would use a darker red fringe on a red dress. They would use a slightly darker green fringe on a green dress. They'd use a darker fringe on a camel dress, and of course they'd use a tealish darker fringe on a teal dress. So that's kind of my thinking on this, and that's why I didn't go to the trouble of actually cutting away all that black stuff that's there. That would be a lot of work, and I just don't think you have to do that. So there's my logic behind that, right? Does that make sense to you?
It does, and this was the one I picked when I first looked at the assignment, and that would be a lot of work.
Yeah, so, and you don't need to do that because I think you'll be just fine with this. So what I'm going to do now is I got my background picture right here, okay? I'm going to select the picture that I have my mask on. Now remember, it's masking everything but that dress. So that's the only thing that you're seeing there. By clicking on this, I'm going to go up to the image menu. I'm going to go to Adjustments, and I'm going to come down to Desaturate. And I desaturate it. You see how nicely that desaturates?
Yeah, that really works out well.
Right? Now, what I do want to do is I want to probably come in here and I want to do a levels adjustment on this as well. Again, I like my grays to be very light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably try the midtones. I'm going to try dragging the midtones up. Oh, and by the way, did you see, look what happens as I drag this up. Can you see the entire picture?
Yeah, the background.
Right. Now, the reason that's happening is because I didn't go here, hold down the Alt key, and I didn't attach this adjustments to just my gray layer, my desaturation layer. You see how when I did that, the background comes back?
Yep.
Right. Now, this adjustment is only applying to this image, that layer.
Gotcha.
Okay? All right, so keep that in mind. It's a very important point. All right, now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to see if I can lighten that dress quite a bit. Bring that dress up quite a bit. I got to be careful doing this. I think I'm probably too far with it. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to bring this over to about here. I got to bring some of that dark back, and I went too far with it. Let me bring it to right about there might do it. I think that might work. Let's give it a try and see. All right, so there is my adjustments. So what I'm going to do is, again, 4 layers. Okay, layer number 1 is going to be red. Layer number 2 is going, and see, again, am I not doing exactly the same thing on each one of these things?
same, exact same.
Right. This is the important thing I'm trying to point out to you, is that I'm not doing this different ways. It's not like I'm being confusing and doing one way and doing another the other way. These all can be done virtually the same way. So, I mean, I'm doing it 3 different times on 3 different pictures, so that each one of you, if you choose any one of these particular pictures, you'll know exactly how to do what I did to get the result that we're looking for.
And that's the only way if someone was showing me this 10 different ways, I wouldn't learn a thing.
You'd be messed up. You'd be lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then this is teal. So, all right, so I've named my layers red, green, camel, and teal. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to hold the control key down. I'm going to click on my little thumbnail of my mask, which then selects my mask. Okay, no problem with that. I've done it before, right? Come over here with my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click here. And then what I'm going to do is, on my red layer, I'm going to dump red. And then I'm going to go to green, and I'm going to hide the red. And I'm going to get my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click on green. Again, 5x5 average is what I'm using. There's my little green. And my paint bucket tool, I'm on the green layer, and I dump green. And hide the green. The only reason I'm hiding it is because I can see what I'm doing. So that's all. So I go to camel, and I get my eyedropper tool, and I 5x5 sample, click on my camel. There it is. It gives me a beautiful camel color. I could change this if I want. I could come up here and go 3x3 or point sample. You know, 3x3 is just as good. You know what I mean? Because this is a nice big sample. You don't have to worry about this. This is a really nice big sample. If you hit anywhere in the middle of this, you're going to get pure color that you want. All right? So keep all that in mind. And then get your paint bucket tool, and you click, and now you've got your camel. And then I'm going to go to my teal layer. This is the one that's always a lot of fun. And let's go to the eyedropper tool. Let's sample it. And let me get my paint bucket tool and dump it. There we go. Okay, select, deselect. All right, so there are my colors. Let's try the red first. So we select the red layer. Now, again, what choices? We got color, soft light, color burn, and I think overlay was another one that worked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try that. So let's go through the process and see what our best selection is. So the first one I'm going to choose is color burn. And wow, that is really intense red, isn't it?
Yeah, that's real intense.
Really intense. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too intense. So let's try overlay. That's very pretty, but it's kind of
like muted or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. So let's try another one. Let's try what was the other one? Soft light. Soft light. Yeah, it's a little bit thin. That's a little bit thin. Let's try color. Actually, unfortunately, I'm going to say probably overlay. Let's try multiply. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like that the best, I think.
Yeah, color burn is brighter. Multiply is a little bit. Let me try darken. I like darken.
I do too.
That's the one I think. Darken. Yeah. See, multiply. That's multiply. Actually, multiply looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I think darken's probably good in this case. Yeah, I think that's good. I think darken works really well. I think that one is pretty good. We can go with that one probably. If we wanted to, we could come up here and we could try experimenting a little bit with transparency on it. See if I bring it down just a touch, like maybe there. That actually looks.
Oh, that looks good.
I think that looks a little more real. What do you think? The whole point of this is you're trying to fool the eye. You're trying to convince somebody that they're looking at something real. So in this case, what I did was I worked with darken, which is one of the ones that I didn't expect to be using, but it seemed to visually look good. And then I went to the opacity slider and I brought it down to 89%. So that one I think works that way, and I think I'll leave it like that. Okay? So that's working. Let's try the green now. The green one, once again, let's try color burn. That's kind of nice. Let's see what the other ones look like. Let's go to multiply. Oh, there you go. That's it. That's nice. Let's try darken. Nah, no, that's no good. Multiply is really good. Let's try overlay. Nope, don't like it. Too light. Let's try soft light. Nice, but I think I like the other better. What do you think of this one? This one's not bad. What do you think of that one, guys?
Oh, sorry, I was blowing my nose. No, that's pretty good.
Let's try color. This is good, but I think that the color is a little sharp. So my feeling is I either like soft light, I think, but I honestly think, truthfully, I like multiply. Yeah, I think I like multiply.
I like that. I like that.
What do you other guys think?
Yeah.
That
Somebody
good?
else talk.
All right, maybe they're using the chat. I don't have the chat open. I don't even know.
Multiply is good too.
Nobody's using chat really. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go with multiply on this one because I actually like the multiply on this one. And then what I'm going to do is let's go to the camel. All right, let's go to the camel, and let's try the process again. Let's try darken. No, it doesn't work quite right. Multiply. Yeah, multiply works. That could be a good one. Let's try color burn. This might be nice if I came in here and if I lightened it a little bit. Let's bring it down to about 85 again. Where are you out there? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of that? I got it down to 68. I like that.
I like that too.
That's nice. All right, so that's 68. I'm going to make a note of that because I want to look at the others. So let's go 68. 68, right? Yeah, let's bring it back up. Let's look at the others. Let's go to overlay. Don't like overlay. Let's try soft light. I like soft light. That's believable. Although I still think I like the other one better. That's not bad. Let's try going to color. That's nice too. So this is a tough one because I could go with any of these. Any of these would be good. Let me bring this down a little bit and see. If I bring it down to about 80, let's bring it down to about 70. That's nice. I like that. So my gut tells me it's either this one right here or I believe it was multiply at, what was it, 68? 68. 68. Was it 68? Was it multiply? I think.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. I was blowing my nose.
I think it was this. I think it was color burn. Or let me see, darken. Yeah, it was, let's see, multiply. No, it's not. I think it was this one, color burn. So it was either color burn. What do you think? You like that one? Or did you like that color one?
I like this one.
What?
That one looks nice.
Yeah, I like this one right here.
You think this one works out okay?
Yes.
So we'll leave it at this one. Also, what I did was a very subtle thing. I cut those little those little red stones out on her. I guess they're little brooches on the front of her dress. I cut them out. That's a little thing that you might consider doing. Okay, so this one is color burn at 68% on this dress, and I got something that looks pretty good. The other option that I had, which I thought worked really good too, was color. Bring this down to color. And I forget what I used. I think it was more like around 70, 75, something like that, 70. Yeah, I think that was the other option I had. And I like that too because that to me looks like a very believable color and it looks very camel-y. So you could either go with color 70 or the other one, either one of those two. Okay, guys? The teal. Now, here's where we run into problems. Let's go to darken. No good. Let's go to multiply. Better, but way too dark. Let's try color burn. No.
Wow.
Possibly multiply. All right, let's go a little further down. Let's go overlay. Here we go. Now we're in business. Overlay is nice. That's nice.
Ooh, that's nice.
Try soft light. That's nice. That's very real. So here I think soft light is the winner. Let's try one more. Let's go to color. Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Soft light. So interestingly enough, this is what I think is really important about this. is that this demonstration shows you that you can't always count on one particular blend mode to do the job. You're going to have to look at this from the standpoint of a little bit of experimentation, which is what I did. I mean, I basically experimented. I experimented with darken, multiply, color burn. Okay, darken and multiply and color burn. Now, that's not to say that they all worked, but those are the ones that I looked at. Darken, multiply, color burn, overlay, soft light, and color. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different color modes, blend modes that you can employ here to get the colors to do what you want them to do. Okay, guys?
Very cool.
Any questions about this?
I'm good.
All right. All right. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do, and then we'll call it a night, is I'm going to attempt to make this this product sheet. All right. I'm going to try to make this product sheet. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to close all these. Let me close this stuff. Save it. Yes. Let's save it for now. Save it. Yes. Let's save it. Save it. Yes. Okay. And save it. Yes. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to make this contact sheet. So the way to do this is to go to File and go down to where it says Automate. And what we're looking for is Contact Sheet 2. So you see where I'm going here? File menu, Automate, Contact Sheet 2. Everybody got that?
Got it.
Okay, we get this window right here. And what we're going to do is the source images, we're going to use Files. See where it says Files folder? We're just going to use Files. Okay, Files. All we're going to do, and this is something that you should be able to figure this one out. I mean, you just look at what it's basically telling you to do here, and you shouldn't have too much trouble with this. So I'm going to browse, and what I did to make this easier on us is I actually created on my desktop a folder that I called Contact Sheet. And in my Contact Sheet, I have my dress green, dress red, dress teal, and dress camel. I have those images. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 images. So they actually want me to make 3 rows of 3s. I'm going to use all these images. What the hell? You know what I mean? I got them in here. I'm going to use all these images. You don't need to do this. You only need to have, see the dress 4 camel, dress 4 green, dress 4 original, dress 4 red, dress 4 teal. This is the one girl. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images. That's all you really need. The only reason I'm using them is because I actually created these other as well. And since I want to show you 3 by 3, I might as well use all of them. That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. So I'm going to click on this, hold down the Shift key, and click on that. So now I've selected all these images. And I'm going to hit OK. And you see how it loads all of them in there? That's it. Now, I have my document size. The units are inches. I've decided that I'm going to use inches. I'm going to go 8 by 10. Resolution, 300 pixels per inch. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set this to be, let's say 150. All right, 150. Color mode RGB, 8-bit depth is fine. We're going to go across first, 3 columns, 3 rows. See all this? Any questions about any of this? Use Files. Files, you browse, you find your files, you load them in, you verify that they're in here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to end up with 3 rows and 3 columns, which is good. And then, of course, inches, 8 by 10 is what I chose. It doesn't give you a size. I don't believe it gives you a size. I'll actually go and look real quickly. I don't believe it gives you a size here. Let's see very quickly. It doesn't really, does it? Nope, it doesn't give you a size. So I'm just going with 8 by 10. All right, 8 by 10, 150 pixels. Remember we talked about resolution, guys. We talked about resolution, 72 for web, 150 for color printing on a copier, and 300 printing for offset printing. I'm just going with a resolution of 50. It actually wants you to optimize this, so maybe the thing to do would be to actually make this 72 pixels per inch. So make it 8 by 10 by 72. And then, of course, across, you're going to go across in rows across, and then it's going to be columns 3 by 3. And I'm going, so everybody good with that? Any questions about any of it?
No.
RGB color, hit OK. And here it comes. Watch. Give it a minute. It's building. There. Okay? That's it. What do you think?
Cool.
Now, that's what you're going to get. You're not even going to get this. Do you know why? Because, first of all, I have these pictures interspersed with these pictures. In reality, what you're going to get, you're not going to have this. What you're going to have is you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to have your 5 pictures, and it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then you'll have an empty space there, and it'll be spaced out differently than this. But I threw in these 4 other pictures, and these 4 other pictures are in a slightly different shape than this. So I got something slightly different for my result. But that doesn't matter all that much. The important thing is that you saw how to create this thing, right? You guys have any questions about what I did?
No.
All right, so there's one final thing left to do, and that is to go File, Save As. First of all, I save it. I save this thing. I'm going to call it Contact Sheet. This is just 101. I'm going to remove that, and I'm just going to call it Contact Sheet. And it's in my folder on my desktop called Contact Sheet. So I'm just going to put Contact Sheet and save it as a Photoshop document. So again, I'm saving the original Photoshop file. You always try to do that as well. Then you can go in and you can go File, Save As. And now we're going to take this thing and turn it into a JPEG, call it Contact Sheet. You're actually going to type in the instructions that it gives you. Name your file, DES, so on and so forth. So it's right there, right? And then you're going to save it as a JPEG in the Contact Sheet. I'm going to put this as Contact Sheet underscore SUBMISSION submission and hit Save. Maximum is fine. Hit OK. That should be it. Is it still processing? I think it's done. Let's find out. And I'm going to go to my Contact Sheet here, and let's find that. Contact Sheet submission. There it is, JPEG. Boom.
No.
There it is. There's your submission, guys. That's what you submit.
Very cool.
Well, there you have it, guys. We're done for tonight. I don't know whether you need anything else or if you want to ask me anything. We still got a few minutes. I'm not going to rush you out of here. You can, take your time and ask me anything you want or leave when you're ready to go. I think I pretty much covered it. I certainly hope that I did it in a way that makes it easier for you to do the work. That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, it'll definitely be easier once I go back over it, over the live session.
Okay.
My kids right now, but yeah, you definitely did a great job.
The important thing to keep in mind is that when you watch last night's recording, pay attention. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, what I was saying is that when you watch last night's video, pay attention to the fact that in each case when I did this, when I made the masking for each one of my dresses, I did almost exactly the same thing for each one of them. So if you watch, you'll see almost the exact same steps, pretty much the exact same steps for each one. So if you follow those steps, you really can't go wrong. And it's, I think, very similar tonight. I went through each individual dress, and I did almost the exact same thing on each individual dress. So if you follow the directions that I did in each of these videos, you should be able to pull off any one of those 3 dresses as well.
Sounds good.
I want to thank you guys for coming. I'm always glad when I have students come in because it's fun to have you here to talk to you. I am not going to be in Blackboard tomorrow night, but I will be in Blackboard Thursday night from 8 o'clock until 11. 8 o'clock to 11 Thursday night. Friday morning from 9 to 12. And, of course, this is all Mountain Time. And then Saturday from 9 to 12 Mountain Time. If you need me, feel free to get in touch with me.
Sounds good, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming, and have a good night.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You too.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.